congratulatory messages on the 45th anniversary of diplomatic relations between the two countries. An estimated 120 million trips were made during the three-day New Year holiday in China. China's first domestically built large cruise ship, the Adora Magic City, set sail on its first commercial voyage on Monday. Hello and welcome to this edition of Global Business on CGTN. I'm Guan Xing in Beijing. And first up in the program, Chinese President Xi Jinping and U.S. President Joe Biden exchanged congratulatory messages on the 45th anniversary of diplomatic relations between the two countries. President Xi emphasized the significance of this event in the history of both bilateral and international relations, noting that the relationship has generally advanced despite challenges and has enhanced the welfare of both nations and contributed to global peace, stability, and prosperity. He advocated for mutual respect, peaceful coexistence, and win-win cooperation, saying they are the right approach for the two countries and urged joint efforts toward this direction. He also referred to the San Francisco vision laid out with Biden as a future-oriented roadmap for the development of China-U.S. relations. In President Biden's message, he acknowledged the positive impact of China-U.S. diplomatic relations since 1979, highlighting its role in fostering prosperity and opportunities in both countries and globally. He expressed his commitment to responsibly manage this crucial relationship. He said he looks forward to building upon the achievements of their predecessors and the progress made in their meetings and discussions aiming to further advance bilateral relations. 2023 witnessed frequent exchanges by top business leaders and government officials from China and the U.S. Leaders of both top U.S. companies, including Apple CEO Tim Cook, Tesla CEO Elon Musk, and Microsoft co-founder Bill Gates, visited China. And senior U.S. officials, including Secretary of State Antony Blinken, Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen, and Commerce Secretary Gina Raimondo, and California Governor Gavin Newsom also paid official visits to China. In November, Chinese President Xi Jinping attended the APEC Economic Leaders meeting in San Francisco and held talks with his U.S. counterpart, Joe Biden. Both sides agreed to resume high-level contact between their militaries, advance mutually beneficial cooperation, and manage differences in bilateral ties. China's tourism and consumption sector saw a boost during the New Year holiday weekend. Domestic tourism orders reported a 168% year-on-year increase during the three-day holiday, while outbound travel saw a 388% increase. Chinese aviation authorities forecast a total of 49,000 flights of the New Year's holiday, an increase of approximately 85.5% from the same period in 2023, and a 2.7% increase compared to the same period in 2019. Meanwhile, box office revenue in China reached record highs over the weekend, with a total number of movie viewings exceeding 31 million. And China's National Film Administration also released the key indicators for the country's film industry in 2023. The annual box office revenue reached nearly 55 billion yuan, with domestic films accounting for over 46 billion yuan, or 83.77% of the total. But return passengers flows peaked on Monday at the end of the three-day holiday. Official data shows that some 128 million passenger trips have been made by rail, road, waterway, and civil aviation during the holiday period. The Railway Authority has rolled out an additional 787 passenger trains to accommodate the rush today. According to the Ministry of Culture and Tourism, China's tourism sector will boom in 2024. Domestic tourist trips are expected to exceed 6 billion, and outbound tourists will surpass 264 million. But China has experienced a remarkable tourism recovery during the New Year holiday, with visitors flocking to cities and rural locations. First-tier cities like Beijing and Shanghai, along with snow-covered Harbin in northeast China's Heilongjiang province and beautiful Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region, are among the top destinations for New Year's travel. Take a look.
Chinese tourists are hitting the road this New Year long weekend. Travelers are eager to explore beyond their provincial borders and taking the site across different parts of the country. One of the most sought-after destinations is China's Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region, renowned for its popularity among self-driving enthusiasts.
I saw the scenic beauty here of Xinjiang's Yardan and Dansha landforms. Under the snowy landscape, what I've experienced is quite a unique beauty of Xinjiang, truly showcasing the magnificence of the region.
China's Liaoning province has drawn a large number of tourists for New Year celebrations. The capital city Shenyang hosts a 65-day Lantern Festival, providing visitors with an immersive experience to bask in the enchanting light set against its snowy landscape.
I'm from Anhui Province. I came here with friends to celebrate the New Year in the ice and snow.
In the meantime, Harbin hosts an ice sculpture exhibition, marking the largest scale in recent years. The number of visitors received has also reached a historic high.
To cater the large number of tourists, we extended our business hours. We received 60,000 visitors a day.
Official data shows the Heilongjiang province saw a significant surge in tourism during the New Year Day holiday period. The total number of tourist visits reached 6 million, reflecting a remarkable year-on-year increase of 174% compared to previous years. Yu Bokun, CGTN.
And now for more discussions on New Year's Day's consumption, I want to bring in Li Yong, Chief Researcher and DNC think tank. And thank you for joining us, and Happy New Year to you, Mr. Li. So what are the features and highlights of New Year's Day holiday consumption in 2024 compared to previous years? What do you think are the reasons behind these changes?
Well, as you have earlier mentioned about, the highlight of this year's consumption is obvious. You know, it is the tourism that has been, rebounded very sharply. And I think, if we have to talk about the differences between this New Year holiday, between this one and from the last one, I think, the focus is different. Last year's focus was to build consumer confidence after the COVID. And this year's effort is obviously to boost consumer consumption and unleash the potential of consumer demand. And that, I think, the reason behind this, behind the difference is the government efforts. I think this year the government has put top priority on boosting the consumer consumption, which is one of the important drivers of the economic growth, and there are relevant policies and at the central level and at the local level as well. And those policies are working hand in hand with market players, and therefore creating a better experience and customer experiences and better consumption environment. I think those are the key reasons for the changes.
Do you mean that consumption and domestic demand still has room to further improve, and what more can be done?
Well, I think we have to be realistic about how in what position right now, and if we have reached, for example, the full potential, or we have fully recovered, from the COVID hit, consumption. If we look at the tourism number, 2023, I think the recovery has reached, in terms of total number of visits, tourism visits, has recovered to about 90% of the pre-COVID year of 2019. And in terms of tourism revenue, it is about the same. I think, but with the government policy and the naming of the year as the consumption year, I believe there will be more, consumer-friendly policies and the environment being created for the consumers to consume, and there will be a lot of promotions as I can anticipate, consumption seasons, being created, at different places and localities. And all of those, I think, will contribute to a full recovery. And I think, the central government will provide policy support, and local government will create, the environment and the opportunities for businesses, to serve the consumers so that consumers feel comfortable, to spend and consume in a very friendly consumption environment. Back to you.
And there are a lot of talks about new growth points or new growth momentums. President Xi's New Year address particularly mentioned the rise in Chinese brand consumption. What do you think are the reasons behind this trend, and how can we further build on this momentum?
Well, I think, this is really because, one, the cultural confidence being gained over decades of fast economic development. And of course, associated with that development is also the improved quality and quality assurance, quality control, and so on and so forth. So Chinese brands, they provide, internationally compatible quality, and because of the Chinese companies having the cultural understanding, they can create brands that meets the cultural demands and their spiritual need, both in terms of the product design as well as the concept. And I think there is another driver, which is the young generation's preference, particularly Generation Z. About 78.2% of the one survey indicates that 78.2% of the Generation Z, they prefer Chinese brands, and this is associated, with the development trends and their preference for Chinese culture and their cultural identity. I think that trend will continue to develop, particularly with the improved quality and the consumers' confidence in the domestic brands and associated services, with domestic brands. So I think the domestic brand developers, they can continue to discover, the cultural needs and develop products, that have embedded, cultural elements.
Well, thank you so much for your insights. And that was Li Yong, Chief Researcher and DNC think tank for us. Moving on to some other China business headlines. China will apply lower provisional import tariff rates on 1,010 goods from today, and this move reflects the country's commitment to further opening up, promoting trade, and ensuring smooth supply chains. And China welcomed about 214,000 inbound passenger trips from France, Germany, Italy, the Netherlands, Spain, and Malaysia in December, up 28.5% from a month earlier, after a new visa-free policy for those countries came into effect on December the 1st, according to China's National Immigration Administration. And China's factory activity shrank slightly in December, with the Purchasing Managers Index for the country's manufacturing sector coming at 49.0, down from 49.4 the previous month, the latest data from the NBS showed on Sunday. The performance of China's economy in 2023 and the prospects for the country's economic growth in 2024 and the coming years have attracted much attention. Let's hear more from He Ping, Deputy Dean of the School of Economics and Management at Tsinghua University.
Looking back at 2023, the key word for China's economy is recovery. In the first quarter, the economy rebounded and achieved a good start. In the second quarter, the overall recovery trend continued, and the growth rate of some indicators slowed down. In the third quarter, major economic indicators stabilized and rebounded. In the fourth quarter, the macro control policy started to take effect, and the economy maintained the momentum of stabilizing and rising. For 2024, the momentum of recovery will continue. In terms of consumption, consumer demand will be stimulated through measures such as raising household incomes and improving the social security system. In terms of industrial investment, firms are encouraged to increase R&D investment and promote industrial upgrading and transformation. It is also expected that there will be moderately increase in investment for infrastructure construction and real estate to stimulate economic growth.
So what specific policy factors have underpinned China's economic resilience, especially the rebound in the second half in 2023?
In 2023, the macro policy, along with the implementation of development strategy, have created a sound and stable economic environment, issuing additional 1 trillion RMB of treasury bonds, reducing reserve requirements and interest rates, cutting taxes and fees, promoting financial support in key areas, and resolving risks in the economic and financial fields. As a result, during the first 3 quarters, the contribution of domestic demand to economic growth increased to 113%, of which the contribution of consumption achieved 83%, effectively hedging the contraction pressure of external demand. In more detail, the total retail sales of consumer goods increased by 6.9%, significantly higher than the same period last year. For the investment momentum in high-tech industries is very, very strong, promoting the new momentum of economic growth. According to the National Bureau of Statistics, during the first 3 quarters, investment in high-tech manufacturing and high-tech services increased by 11.3% and 11.8% respectively, which are both substantially higher than the average growth rate of fixed asset investment, and continued to promote industrial transformation and upgrading. The added value of aviation, spacecraft, and equipment manufacturing in the high-tech manufacturing industry above designated size increased by 18.9%, also substantially higher than that of all industrial enterprises.
And now we're heading for a short break. Still to come on Global Business. China's first domestically built large cruise ship, the Adora Magic City, set sail on its first commercial voyage on Monday.
The world economy as we know it is about to change. Global business reports highlight emerging markets, developing countries, and dynamic sectors worldwide. We feature top analysts and newsmakers to provide perspectives on every facet of business. From an on-the-ground perspective, we provide you with balanced and objective assessments. Fast, sharp, and insightful. Global Business. Only on CGTN.
Welcome back. China's first domestically built large cruise ship, the Adora Magic City, set sail on its first commercial voyage on Monday. Wu Bing reports from Shanghai.
This is an important day for China's cruise ship industry. More than 3,000 passengers, together with over 1,200 crew members, boarded the Adora Magic City in Shanghai. The passengers behind me are now entering the cruise ship. They'll embark on a 7-day journey starting from the first day of the new year. Some of the guests arrived in the morning in the hope of boarding as early as possible.
It's just amazing to see the cruise ship with your own eyes. It's beyond description. Our country has the ability to build a large cruise ship, which makes all Chinese proud.
Large cruise ships are known as floating cities at sea. The Adora Magic City features more than 2,100 bedrooms, with a capacity to host over 5,200 guests. Its first commercial journey will take passengers to Northeast Asia, stopping in South Korea and Japan. As a Chinese-built ship, many of the designs and services cater to the tastes of Chinese customers.
We have opened special restaurants on the ship, like Hot Pot, and we also collaborated with both Chinese and foreign theater brands to create an entertainment experience combined with both cultures. We also have a beer house in the largest duty-free shopping area on the sea. These are all made to meet demands of Chinese customers.
China has become the fifth country in the world to build large cruise ships. It's hoped that this could give a boost to China's cruise economy and the entire industrial chain.
第二个方面，我们说邮轮的这个全球。
2024 is the key year for the full recovery of China's cruise economy, with the commercial run of Adora Magic City and the return of international large cruise ships. China's international cruise market will embrace a brand new start.
接下来我们的邮轮经济的产业带动。
The Adora Magic City is scheduled to take 80 commercial voyages in 2024, with Shanghai as its home port and covering the major holidays. The company is also planning trips to Southeast Asia in the future. Wu Bin, CGTN, Shanghai.
The Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, or RCEP, has entered its third year. The joint multilateral free trade agreement gave birth to the world's biggest free trade area by population, trade, and potential. It covers 30% of global population, 33% of world GDP, and 28% of global trade, according to data compiled by the World Bank. Businesses have benefited from tariff reduction, facilitated customs clearance, and facilitated trade and investment. Experts say RCEP will to further facilitate trade flows and inject much-needed vitality into the global economy. The Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership has created the world's largest free trade area in terms of economic size, and this will bring benefits to the countries and enterprises within the region and beyond. Our Yu Bokun reports.
RCEP is a big deal. It stands for the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership. It's so far the world's largest free trade agreement, covering 15 participating countries, including the 10 ASEAN countries and Australia, China, Japan, New Zealand, and South Korea. This mega deal accounts for nearly 30% of the global population and a combined one-third of the world's GDP. So what does it do? The deal aims to break down trade barriers and promote investment among member states. Under the agreement, over 90% of the merchandise trade among members will be subject to zero tariff eventually. According to the Asian Development Bank, by 2030, RCEP will add $245 billion and 2.8 million jobs to the member economies. The rules of a region under the deal makes RCEP special. It determines where a product were made and eliminates tariffs on goods traded between members. For example, a company in Vietnam is making furniture for clients in Singapore. The two are part of the ASEAN Free Trade Zone. But because some parts of the furniture are made in China, Singapore may charge a tariff on the finished product. But the RCEP will remove barriers like that, encouraging countries to look within the bloc for suppliers.
RCEP has brought benefits to all its member states. The Thai Commerce Ministry said that after RCEP came into effect, the global market was further open to Thai goods. China can import more products from Thailand, such as chemicals, electronics, coconut water, and pineapple products. Under the RCEP agreement, tariffs have been reduced, and the customs process has become smoother as well. For example, for some seafood products, the customs clearance time has been reduced to 6 hours. During the past 2 years, China has continued to promote access to agricultural products from RCEP member countries. Vietnamese durians and Cambodian mangoes can more easily enter the China market. And now for more insights on RCEP's development, we're joined by Austin Ong, an analyst at Integrated Development Studies Institute. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Austin, and Happy New Year to you. So how has RCEP influenced Philippines' trade relationship with other member countries, and what impact has it had on the country's overall trade strategy?
Happy New Year, and thank you for having me in the first day of the year. Actually, the Philippines, as we know, was the last country to ratify RCEP. There was some domestic debate between the economic, political sector and the labor and agricultural sector. So I believe it's been just about a year. We ratified it in February 2023. So the tangible data on the direct contribution of RCEP are still forthcoming. However, it definitely reinvigorated excitement on ASEAN economic cooperation and, of course, regional development. Of course, the three largest economies in the grouping, China, Japan, South Korea, are the three top partners also of the Philippines. So there's much to look forward to. President Marcos actually prioritized visits to ASEAN neighbors. For example, his first foreign visits when he took office in mid-2022 was to Indonesia and Singapore. And he's visited almost all the major ASEAN neighbors, and trade and investment has been on top of his priority list.
So there's more potential to tap into. What can be done to further promote RCEP, and what are the prospects for further collaboration within the RCEP framework?
Sure. Actually, that's the most important. Of course, we know the main implementation of RCEP will take about 20 years for the full implementation. However, the society buy-in, of course, the businessmen will always gravitate towards wherever the profit is most attractive. However, I teach in several universities in the Philippines and talk to many businessmen and business chambers. Many of them are not very clear on how RCEP can help their businesses. Of course, the Philippines grew 5.5%, 6% this year, and it's poised to have a moderate GDP growth for the next foreseeable future. And of course, we have the demographic sweet spot where our population is reaching the 23 to 25-year-old age bracket. Of course, the services sector, as we know, Philippines is a globally recognized service provider. So there is much to tap into, but for the society, especially the MSMEs who are meant to benefit from RCEP, will have to have a important role in education information programs to let them know how the details will benefit them, will play an important role.
Indeed. Well, thank you very much for sharing with us. That was Austin Ong, an analyst at the Integrated Development Studies Institute, for us. And that will do for this edition of Global Business on CGTN. We'll leave you with scenes of celebration held across the world. I'm Guanxing in Beijing. Thanks for watching. On behalf of the team, we wish you a happy and a prosperous New Year.
After a 3-year-long COVID-19 pandemic, the arrival of 2023 in